When you look at all the life here on Earth, it's kind of wild. There's this one species, us, Homo sapiens, that just completely dominates everything. And for centuries, we've been asking ourselves, why? What was it about our ancestors that set them on this incredible, exceptional path? A path that led to this amazing rise, but also, and this is the paradox, could be the very thing that leads to our downfall. So let's really get into it. The big riddle here is what truly makes us different from every other animal out there. Because all the old answers we thought we had, well, new discoveries are just tearing them apart. So it's time we ask that question all over again. You see, for the longest time, we were pretty sure we had it all figured out. We point to our big brains, our superior intellect, our unique culture. But what science is showing us now is that all those clear lines we drew in the sand, they're kind of getting blurry. They're washing away. Yeah, we're starting to see some really compelling evidence for stuff we always thought was just ours. Things like culture, complex intelligence, popping up in other species. And the story that's emerging, wow, it is so much more interesting than we ever could have imagined. All right, so let's start by knocking down some of the usual suspects. The first big one everybody always points to, our giant, powerful brain. I mean, we've always patted ourselves on the back for being the smartest kids on the block, right? The pinnacle of creation, all because of our intelligence. But are we really judging that fairly? Is our way of thinking the only kind of thinking that actually matters? This quote just hits the nail on the head. It reframes the entire debate, doesn't it? Our whole definition of intelligence is completely skewed towards, well, us. Think about it. An octopus literally thinks with its tentacles. A dog reads an entire world of information through its nose. These aren't lesser intelligences. They are profoundly different ways of being intelligent. And you see this stuff all over the animal kingdom. Chimps can totally get abstract concepts. A golden eagle diving for prey is performing these insane split-second calculations. Speed, wind direction, where the prey is going to bolt. I mean, these are incredible mental feats. They're just not the kind of feats we give points for on our human-centric tests. Okay. So if it's not just raw intelligence, what about tools? Our ability to make and use them? That's been a classic, this is what makes us human argument for ages. But is it really just us? Not even close. You've got bottlenose dolphins using sponges like protective gloves when they're foraging. Chimps will literally fashion sticks into the perfect shape to go fishing for termites. And sea otters using rocks to crack open shells? Classic. Tool use is way more common out there than we used to think. So nope, that can't be the answer either. All right, let's keep going. We're narrowing it down. If it's not intelligence and it's not tools, maybe the answer lies in some of our more, sophisticated abilities. I'm talking about our language and our culture. I mean, think about it. We use symbols, words that we all agree on the meaning of. We can write down our history, our wildest ideas. That feels like a huge leap forward, right? Surely this has got to be the thing that sets us apart. Okay, so our symbolic language is pretty special, no doubt. But what we're finding out is that animal communication is so much richer and more complex than we ever gave it credit for. Birds have these intricate songs and calls that can actually identify specific individuals. Wolves use this whole sophisticated mix of body language and sounds. And get this, dolphins have signature whistles they use to call out to each other. I mean, how is that not basically a name? All right then, let's talk about culture. The knowledge, the behaviors, the skills that get passed down from one generation to the next. This is what creates our traditions, our societies, our history. This feels fundamentally human, doesn't it? But you guessed it, that barrier is crumbling too. Orcapods will teach their kids very specific hunting techniques that are unique just to their family. You've got some sea otter groups that use tools while others right nearby don't. That's a learned behavior, not instinct. Spotted hyenas even get into what you can only call politics to form alliances. This is literally animal culture in action. So, if it's not intelligence, not tools, not language, and not even culture in the way we always thought, what's left? What is it? Well, after we strip away all those old, easy answers, science is now pointing to one single, stunningly simple, and yet unbelievably powerful human trait. Imagination. That's it. just imagination. And this is what the latest research is suggesting is the real engine of what makes us human, the one quality that can explain our completely unique journey on this planet. And look, we're not just talking about, daydreaming about unicorns or something. This is a very specific kind of imagination. It's the ability to look at the world as it is, picture something that doesn't exist yet, and then, and this is key, work together with other people to make that vision a reality. This three-step process, observe, imagine, create, that's the core of what makes us so different. I mean, another animal might see a rock and just see a rock. A human sees that same rock and can imagine a tool or a house or a sculpture. And then, crucially, we can explain that imagined idea to someone else and say, hey, let's build this thing together. And the consequences of this one ability are just staggering. Imagination is what allows us to feel complex emotions like gratitude, which helps us build lasting relationships. It lets us invent these shared fictions, things like nations or money or corporations or religions, these ideas that only exist in our minds but can unite millions of complete strangers. It's wild to think that every time we imagine something new, we are literally physically rewiring our own brains, creating new pathways and new possibilities. But, and this is a really big but, this incredible gift, this spark that sets us apart, it is not all sunshine and rainbows. It comes with a really profound and honestly often terrifying dark side. On the one hand, it's the source of all of our greatest achievements. We imagine new worlds, and then we explore them with science. We imagine new shapes and colors and create breathtaking art. We imagine better, fairer societies, and then we work to build them. But that exact same ability is what allows us to commit the most horrific acts imaginable. It lets us imagine another group of people as less than human, which we then use to justify cruelty and war. It lets us imagine a world of endless growth on a finite planet, and that leads to environmental destruction. It turns out our greatest strength is also, without a doubt, our greatest danger. So what this all boils down to is that our true superpower is imagining things into existence. And that applies to everything, from incredible cathedrals and life-saving vaccines to concentration camps and climate change. It's a tool of immense, almost unbelievable power, and it works for both creation and destruction. And so that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? We are the imaginative species. That's who we are. We look at the world, we imagine how it could be different, and then we act to make it so. So knowing that's our gift and our curse, what kind of future are we going to choose to imagine into reality?